My name is Dustin Jackson. I've been at the theater for about 3 years here, 4 years in school. I transferred here from USF. I originally come from University of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's where I was born and raised for 19 years. And then I wanted to go to a theater program that had really good training behind it. And so I came here. And this is the first show that I have had a lead in. I've also been Laertes in The Odyssey. I had that big teary reunion with Odysseus at the end. And then I've also been in 12 Angry Men and On the Razzle as juror number 9 and the coachman.
And I'm Charisse Danker. I'm from Chaska, Minnesota. I went to USD originally, and I just didn't like their program. It wasn't for me, so I transferred here and fell in love with the program. So I haven't been anything yet. You wouldn't know me. And so I'll be playing Lucy in Dracula. This will be my first role here. And
yeah, I'm playing Dracula. The title lead of the show. I'm really excited for it. I hope that everybody enjoys it. I'm really working hard on it. The director, Heather Hamilton, her concept for each of the characters has been bugs. And the one that she chose for me was praying mantis, so you'll see me during the show, and I have my arms like this a lot because that's how a praying mantis holds its hands. And all of my movements are very long in the arms, and it has a lot of a hint of the praying mantis behind it, and it's really helped develop my character.
It's very scary. I'm not going to lie. And then Heather, for me, she told me about the Luna moth. And so it's this very beautiful moth that only lives for a week, and it's big. It's as big as your hand. And so I do very flowy, very beautiful sort of movements. But then at the end, she told me to take my inspiration from a wasp instead, because the vampire starts coming out. And so instead now I'm constantly moving, and it's different. So I get to change, and that's cool. She helped me a lot with that. So Lucy's the character I play. She is your traditional, innocent, virtuous woman. She's young, she's naive, she has a fiance, and she's very nice and quiet. And throughout the story, as Dracula starts attacking her, she starts becoming this different person. She becomes more and more seductive, and she starts to attack her fiance, and becomes this completely different person because of Dracula.
Yeah. There's a lot of background behind Dracula. Thanks to our dramaturg, Mina, who's also in the play. You'll enjoy her part as Mina. She dug up that Dracula used to be Vlad the Impaler, a very infamous figure in history who held off a lot of invasions from Turkey. And what he would do to intimidate people who also tried to invade him is he would impale them through a stake and leave them out in the open for his adversaries to see. And that's why he's called Vlad the Impaler. And it's unknown how he became a vampire, but eventually he becomes a vampire, and he keeps his family name Dracula. And what he used to be was a voivod, and I recently learned that that was a governor for a certain area. It's actually not his name, because we thought Voivod was Dracula's first name for a long time, but it's still just Vlad Dracula. And what he's doing in the play is, with the invention of the airplane, he's discovered that he can go from different continents around Europe, because originally he could only sleep in his native soil. That's the only way he could live in undeath. So what he does is he takes these boxes filled with his own native soil and is transported to London. And that is where I think he has an acquired taste for young, beautiful women. He's a connoisseur of fine blood. And so that's what he's doing in England to see Lucy and the victim before that, Mina. He just likes beautiful women. I can speak to this because I'm very opinionated about Twilight. Vampires originally are monsters. They're supposed to be feared. They don't sparkle. I don't sparkle when I enter sunlight. That will never happen. The vampire needs to be sexy, but it also needs to be scary. I think that's what amplifies its sexiness. If it's just that young, impressionable, charismatic youth. That's nothing but, there's nothing more to it. He's just that male wash, that sexy male wash, that there's nothing scary about it. And I think that's really what makes, what am I trying to say? That's what really makes the original vampire so compelling, is that he's the ideal man, but he's also your worst fear. He's also that monster.
Well, yeah, he's everything that you can't have.
Yes.
And Twilight kind of shows that, you know, you have the temptation of wanting this person. But with Dracula, it's more than just a handsome guy. It's more than just something you can't have. It's temptation. It's physical. It's stuff you shouldn't be doing.
Yes.
Someone you shouldn't be with. Whereas Twilight, they seem to make it okay almost.
Yes.
And in Dracula, it's like, no.
Yeah.
This is very wrong.
It's definitely, if you're falling for a vampire in Dracula, there are going to be giant ramifications, as opposed to living forever and sparkling in the sunlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will be happy to talk about the set, because the set, designed by Katie Phillips, who is an undergrad here, is going to be sensational. She's designing basically an insane asylum, and there's going to be like these painted window secluded spaces where we have cast members who do nothing but like gestate and freak out as crazy people throughout the entirety of the show. It looks really creepy. It's, I think, the best set that she's ever done. And other people we work with.
Well, when she put up the cast list, there were all of these extra people listed, and I remember looking at it and thinking, these people are in the script. What are these people for? What's going on? And when Heather started to explain or show what they would be doing, it put the show up to a whole new level. We have 3 people being the crazies, who are patients in the sanatorium. Then we have 3 people who are the evils, the see, hear, and speak no evil. And they don't have any lines. They sit in back, but what they do makes the entire show very scary. The evils follow Dracula around. And they watch and do everything that he does, and the crazies, as he said, they do all this weird movement. It just makes the show incredibly spooky, much spookier than it would have been. So.
Yes, and then there are other leads. Anthony DePoto plays Van Helsing, and he is sensational to work with. It was last night where we were doing our final confrontation, and he whips out this plant called wolfsbane that I can't despise the smell of, and it was really funny. It made Heather Hamilton, the director, laugh a lot, because he was just chasing me around with like these giant leaves of grass, and I was freaking out. I went from very imposing to this very, very pathetic being who was afraid of really tall grass. And we've tweaked that so it's a little less silly, but that was really funny. And then there's Lauren Parsons as Dr. Seward. She's doing some pretty good work.
She is. So instead of Lucy, having a father, the Doctor is a mother now. And also, if you'll pick up on it, we added a little something. Her and Van Helsing have a thing instead, so that's something to keep an eye out for. It adds more levels to the show. But she's doing really great work.
Yes. And then there is Max.
Yep.
Max plays John Harker, her fiance. What I really love is seeing the transformation of Charisse's character Lucy and their relationship, because they go at first to the kissy-feely lover types, and then it goes into her dementia, her transformation into this wicked creature, and her using him. It's very fun to watch.
Okay.
Heather Hamilton said it best, I think. You're going to come to the show to see a laugh and a thrill. There are moments where it will seem very melodramatic and, oh no, here comes the vampire, but then there are moments that are absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what else to add, but it's
and come to the show to see us. We're not too bad in it either.